They say lightning never strikes the same place twice. But what about the human heart? I'm Aisha Rahman, and this is the story of how a simple favor turned into the most transformative experience of my life. A story about vulnerability, courage, and discovering that sometimes the person you're meant to save ends up saving you instead. The overhead lights of the University Fieldhouse hummed with post-practice. Energy as Coach Patel's voice cut through the chatter in the women's locker room. "Rahman, my office, now!" I traded looks with my teammates, some raised eyebrows, a few sympathetic nods. Being called in by Coach Patel usually meant one of two things. You were about to be handed the captain's armband, or you'd botched something spectacularly. Fresh off anchoring our relay team's gold at Nationals, I was banking on the former. Coach Patel was a compact woman in her late 40s, with sharp, dark eyes framed by a hijab that never slipped, no matter how heated practice got. Her office was a shrine to track and field glory, medals dangling from hooks, faded photos of past champions. She pointed to the worn chair opposite her desk, piled high with training logs and energy gel wrappers. "Sit, Aisha. This is about Layla." My pulse skipped. Everyone on the team had heard about the incident 4 days ago, the brutal fall during hurdles practice that left our star sprinter with a fractured wrist, torn ligaments in her knee, and doctor's orders for absolute immobilization. I'd been right there when it happened. 1 second, Layla was flying over the barriers like gravity was optional. The next, her foot caught the edge and she crumpled in a heap that silenced the entire track. The crack of bone on wood still echoed in my nightmares. "How is she holding up?" I asked, my voice laced with the worry I'd been bottling since the ambulance left. "Physically? She'll mend. The wrist is casted, knees braced, 6 to 8 weeks minimum off her feet." Coach leaned forward, elbows on the desk. "But Layla Khan doesn't do off her feet. She's been running since she was 6, chasing her brothers around Lahore before her family moved here. This downtime is eating her alive. Her parents are back in Pakistan for a family wedding, gone 3 more weeks. Her apartment's empty since her roommate graduated early. She's alone, proud as they come, and I don't trust her not to try jogging on that knee the second no one's watching." I nodded, piecing it together. "You need someone to check in. Groceries, meds, make sure she doesn't undo all the healing." "Exactly." Coach's gaze locked on mine. "You're pre-med, Aisha. Level-headed, disciplined, and you two aren't joined at the hip, which is perfect. You won't let her charm her way out of rest. Half the team would cave if she flashed that smile." She wasn't wrong about the distance between us. Layla Khan and I orbited different worlds on the same team. She was the phenom, the Pakistani-American firecracker with sun-kissed skin, wild curls that defied ponytails, and hazel eyes that sparkled with mischief or determination, depending on the day. Sponsored by big brands even as a sophomore, she had that effortless speed that made coaches weep with joy. Parties? She was the life of them. Friends? She collected them like race bibs. Me? I was the grinder. Daughter of Bangladeshi immigrants who'd poured every dime into their halal grocery store in Queens before relocating to Oregon for my dad's heart surgery. I trained like my life depended on it, because med school admissions did. My circle? 2 study buddies and my little sister. Social scene? Library over lattes. Layla and I shared nods at meets, split lanes during warm-ups. Polite, professional, distant. "I'll throw in extra credit for your kinesiology elective," Coach said, dangling the carrot. "Full shadowing hours with the athletic trainers." "Med schools eat that up," I exhaled, trapped. "When do I start?" "Tomorrow. I'll send the address." Coach's stern facade cracked just a fraction. "Thanks, Aisha. She won't say it, but she needs this." The next morning, I stood outside Layla's off-campus condo, a sleek modern building with glass balconies and keyed entry, the kind that screamed her endorsement deals were paying off. In one arm, a reusable bag of groceries from my parents' store, fresh spinach, lentils, chicken thighs, basmati rice, mangoes. In the other, a Tupperware of my Amuse shorba, spiced lentil soup that could cure anything from a cold to a broken spirit. I buzzed Unit 502. Hello? Layla's voice crackled, hoarse. Pain or sleeplessness, hard to tell. It's Aisha Rahman. Coach's orders, a beat of silence. You've got to be joking. Nope, groceries or hallway dump? Another pause. The door clicked open. The elevator climb to the 5th floor was a mental rehearsal gone wrong, every opener sounding stiff, intrusive, or downright lame. Her door was cracked when I arrived. I knocked lightly. Come in, she called, muffled. I stepped into a space that was surprisingly organized chaos. Floor-to-ceiling windows flooded the open-plan living area with light. A plush sectional faced a massive TV mounted above a fireplace. Track medals gleamed on a custom wall rack, arranged by distance like a timeline of triumphs. Books on sports psychology stacked neatly beside fashion magazines. But the centerpiece was Layla, sprawled on the couch like a fallen queen. Her curls were a tangled halo, escaping a loose bun. She wore an oversized national team hoodie and yoga pants cut off at the knee to accommodate the bulky brace. Her right arm was in a fiberglass cast from fingers to elbow, propped on a pillow tower. Left leg elevated, ice pack slipping. Bruises bloomed purple along her jaw, and her eyes, usually blazing with that competitive spark, were dulled by exhaustion and something deeper. Defeat? Hey, she said, forcing her signature grin. It wobbled. Coach sent the enforcer. More like delivery service, I shot back, setting bags on the marble kitchen island. But call it babysitting and I'll invoice. A flicker of real humor crossed her face. What's in the arsenal? Real food, betting you've been surviving on energy bars and takeout that arrives cold. I unpacked, vibrant produce, spices labeled in Bengali script, yogurt. Amu's shorba, lentil soup, ginger cumin, healing magic. Layla's eyes lit up. I know shorba. Had the best in Karachi last summer during a training camp. Wait, Rahman, your family owns Greenleaf Market? The one with the killer samosas? Guilty. Opened 20 years ago in New York, expanded here 5 years back. That's legendary. Your mango lassi is... She winced, shifting, the ice pack tumbling. Easy. I crossed to her, concern overriding awkwardness. When did you last eat? She averted her gaze. Breakfast. Yesterday? Days blend? Medications? Makes me loopy. I hate loopy. Her tone sharpened, frustration boiling over. Aisha, I don't need a sermon. I'm handling it, I inhaled, recalling Coach's warning. This wasn't personal. It was pride clashing with fragility. No sermon. How about this? Sip some shorba while I check the brace. Swelling okay? Then you decide on the pills. She eyed me, weighing control versus surrender. Finally, a nod. I ladled soup into a bowl, steamy aromatic with turmeric and cilantro, and handed it over. Our fingers grazed. Hers were ice cold. Circulation, she muttered. Or nerves, thanks. I knelt to inspect her knee. The brace was high-end, but edema puffed around the edges. Elevation's key. Icing schedule? Morning-ish. I looked up. She stared into the bowl, steam curling like unspoken fears. Sunlight highlighted the delicate line of her cheekbone, the tremor in her lip. The invincible Layla stripped bare. Why you? She whispered. Not judging, just plenty of girls would have volunteered. Teammates who adore you. Fair. Coach picked me. Pre-med perks. No ulterior motives, just proper recovery. I hesitated. And maybe because I get the immigrant hustle. Pushing through pain because stopping feels like failing everyone who sacrificed for you. Her eyes met mine, a spark of recognition. Yeah, Dad flew us here for better opportunities. Track was my ticket. Can't let a bump derail that. We talked then, really talked. About family pressures, cultural expectations, the weight of being the talented one. Hours slipped. I cooked dal and rice. She directed from the couch like a queen. We watched old race footage, critiquing form. Laughter eased the tension. By evening, pain won. I helped with meds. As drowsiness claimed her, she grabbed my hand. Stay? Just tonight. Hate the quiet. I texted my roommate, crashed on the guest bed. Days blurred into routine. Mornings, fresh juices, physio checks. Afternoons, study sessions, me with anatomy flashcards, her dictating psych notes one-handed. Evenings, stories. Hers, sneaking out for street races in Pakistan, the thrill of wind whipping her hijab-free hair. Mine, helping at the store after school, dreaming of stethoscopes amid spice aisles, cracks formed in armors. One night, week 2, rain lashing windows. Layla, restless from cabin fever, confessed, "I fake the confidence. Always have. What if I never run the same?" I sat beside her. "You will. But even if not, your worth isn't split times." Tears fell. She leaned in. I held her. Comfort shifted. A brush of lips, hesitant then sure. Fireworks in the storm. Morning after, I woke to chai brewing. Layla, balanced on crutches, beaming. "For the girl who snores like a freight train." I flushed. "About last, wasn't pity or meds," she said firmly. "I've known since high school girls the pull. Hit it. Track world's brutal. Family conservative. But you see me, shifted perspectives." Her golden girl mask, years of coded flirtations, suppressed truths. "Exhaustion of performance, how many know?" I asked softly. "0. Until you." Intimacy deepened. Secret touches during bandage changes. Stolen kisses over shared meals. I taught her Bengali curses. Intimacy deepened. Secret touches during bandage changes. Stolen kisses over shared meals. I taught her Bengali curses. She shared Pashto poetry. Challenges arose. A bad day, swelling flared. She lashed out, accusing overprotection. I pushed back. Independence isn't isolation. Makeup, deeper trust. Coach visited mid-recovery. Miracle worker Rahman. Layla winked. Our secret. Physical therapy started. I spotted her first steps, wobbly, triumphant. "Race you soon," she teased. Culmination, regionals qualifier. Layla benched but cheered loudest. Post-meet rooftop of her building. City lights below. "You saved me," she said. "No. We saved each other." Lightning? It strikes where it wills. Twice in the heart, if you're lucky. The first time Amir said it, his voice was barely above the hum of the kettle in his tiny student flat. "I think I'm gay." He stared at the steam curling from his mug of cheap instant coffee, as if the words might dissolve into it. "You're the first person I've told." Liam, perched on the counter slicing apples for the crumble they were attempting to bake, froze mid-chop. The knife hovered over the cutting board. He set it down carefully, wiping his hands on the tea towel tucked into his jeans. "That's huge, Amir. Thank you for trusting me." He crossed the cramped kitchen in 2 steps, taking Amir's trembling hand. "And for the record, I'm bi. Out to my sister and a couple of mates, but not exactly shouting it from the rooftops at the book club." Amir's shoulders sagged with relief, but his dark eyes were still wary, like a player scanning the pitch for an incoming tackle. "My parents, they're old school. Pakistani, Catholic, all about family honor, and what will the aunties say?" I don't know how to even start that conversation. Liam squeezed his hand. "You don't have to, not yet. This is your call, your pace." Amir laughed, a shaky sound. "How are you so calm about this?" "I'm a mess." "I'm a mess with better PR," Liam teased, nudging Amir's shoulder. "Come on, let's finish this crumble before we burn the flat down." The weeks that followed were a delicate dance. Amir, the star striker for the university's soccer team, had torn his ACL during a match 6 weeks earlier. The injury had sidelined him, and Coach Harris had tasked Liam, a volunteer physio assistant and literature major, with checking in on Amir's rehab. Publicly, they were teammates in recovery, Liam helping with stretches, ice packs, and keeping Amir on track with his coursework. Privately, in the cocoon of Amir's flat, they were something else entirely. Neither had much experience with relationships. Liam's dating history was a string of coffee shop flirtations that fizzled out after a few weeks. Amir, consumed by soccer and the weight of expectations, had never dated anyone. He'd buried his feelings so deep they'd only surfaced in fleeting, guilty glances in the locker room. But with Liam, things felt different. Real. They learned each other slowly. Liam discovered Amir craved quiet affection, curling up on the sagging couch, Amir's head on his chest, while they watched old episodes of Bake Off. The way Amir's breathing evened out when Liam ran his fingers through his hair, as if the touch unraveled years of tension. Amir, in turn, noticed how Liam showed love through small, thoughtful acts, leaving annotated poetry books on Amir's desk, brewing chai exactly the way Amir's mum made it, or staying up to quiz him for his sports science exams. "You don't have to fix everything," Amir said one night, catching Liam reorganizing his cluttered bookshelf for the third time. "I'm not a broken play you can rework." Liam flushed, caught out. "I know, I want things to be good for you." Amir pulled him close, silencing his apology with a kiss. "You're already good for me. Stop trying to earn it." The words hit Liam harder than he expected, cracking open a fear he'd carried since childhood, that he had to be useful to be loved. Amir saw it, the way he always seemed to see through Liam's deflections, and held him tighter. Physically, they moved carefully. Amir's knee was still fragile, certain movements off limits. But there was no urgency, only discovery. The way Amir's eyes lingered when Liam emerged from the shower, hair dripping onto his shoulders. The hitch in Amir's breath when Liam's hand steadied his leg during rehab stretches. The slow, deliberate kisses that stopped just short of too much, both of them hyper-aware of the line they weren't ready to cross. "This is cruel," Amir muttered one evening, sprawled on the couch after a kiss that left them both breathless. "Good cruel, but still." Liam laughed, resting his forehead against Amir's. "3 more weeks till you're cleared for full activity. You've got this." 3 weeks, Amir echoed, groaning. "I'm billing you for emotional damages." The real challenge came when Coach Harris scheduled a progress check. Amir paced the flat, his limp barely noticeable now, but his anxiety in full force. "What if he knows? What if I look at you and it's obvious?" Liam caught his arm, stilling him. "Coach thinks I'm here to get you back on the pitch." "And I have. Your knee's stronger, you're acing your modules, you're smiling again. He'll see what we want him to see." "But what if—" "Amir." Liam's voice was firm but kind. "We don't owe him anything. This is ours." Coach Harris's visit was brisk. He tested Amir's knee, nodded at the physio logs Liam had kept with obsessive detail, and grunted approval. "You're ahead of schedule, Con. Light drills in 2 weeks, then we'll talk full training." He glanced at Liam. "Good work, Carter. You've kept him in line." Amir's grin was pure relief. "Yes, Coach." Harris's eyes lingered on them for a moment, sharp and unreadable. "You two seem tight." "That's good. Team's only as strong as its bonds." Liam's pulse raced, but he kept his face neutral. "Just doing my job, sir." After Harris left, Amir flopped onto the couch, exhaling like he'd been holding his breath for years. That was brutal. "He didn't suspect a thing," Liam said, though he wasn't entirely sure. Or he did and didn't care. Amir tugged Liam down beside him. "Did you hear him? 2 weeks and I'm back on the pitch." The joy in his voice was infectious, but Liam felt a twinge of dread. Their bubble was about to pop. Once Amir returned to training, the demands of soccer, early mornings, weekend matches, teammates who didn't know about them, would pull them apart. Amir read his silence. "Hey, what's going on in that head of yours?" "Nothing," Liam lied, then sighed. "Just, what happens when you don't need me anymore? When you're back to your life, and I'm just the guy who brought you ice packs?" Amir cupped Liam's face, his thumbs brushing over his cheekbones. "You think I'm going anywhere? You're my life now, Liam. Not the crutches, not the physio logs. You. The way you quote Naruto when you're nervous. The way you make me feel like I can be more than a bloody goal-scoring machine. That doesn't end when I'm cleared." Liam's throat tightened. "Promise?" "Promise." Amir kissed him, soft and certain. "Besides, you think I'm giving up your terrible chai recipe?" "You're stuck with me," Liam laughed, the sound wet with relief. "I can live with that." 2 weeks later, Amir was cleared for light drills. They went to the university pitch at dawn, before the campus woke up. Liam sat on the sidelines, wrapped in a scarf against the November chill, watching Amir approach the ball. His knee was braced, his movements cautious. He looked back at Liam, who gave him a small nod. Amir took a breath and started to dribble. Slow at first, testing the grass, the weight of his body. Then faster, his muscle memory kicking in. He wasn't the explosive striker he'd been before the injury. Not yet, but he was moving. The ball danced under his control, and when he sent it into the net with a gentle tap, his shout of triumph echoed across the empty pitch. He jogged back to Liam, grass stains on his shorts, his smile brighter than the morning sun. "Did you see that?" "I saw it," Liam said, pulling him into a hug. "You're back." Amir's arms tightened around him. "We're back. You and me. This is just the start." As they walked off the pitch, hands brushing but not quite holding, Liam believed him. The world was waiting, teammates, schedules, questions they weren't ready to answer. But beneath it all, they had this, a foundation built in quiet moments, in trust and truth and the kind of love that didn't need to shout to be real. The first time I saw Liam Harper, he was a force of nature on the university's wrestling mats, lean, explosive, with shoulders that spoke of years spent grappling with opponents twice his size. He was the team's undefeated star, a junior from a small town in rural Ohio, chasing an Olympic dream that had been drilled into him since he could walk. I was Alex Rivera, a sophomore pre-med student interning with the sports medicine department, more comfortable with anatomy textbooks than the chaos of contact sports. Coach Ramirez had pulled me aside after practice one rainy October afternoon. "Harper's been favoring his left knee," he'd said, his voice gruff with concern. "Kid won't admit it, but he's hurt. Go check on him at his off-campus place. Make sure he doesn't do something stupid." I knocked on the door of the modest two-story house Liam shared with two teammates, expecting resistance. What I got was a pale, sweat-drenched version of the wrestler I'd seen dominate the regional tournament just weeks earlier. He was sprawled on the couch, ice pack slipping from his swollen knee, his face twisted in pain he was clearly trying to hide. "I'm fine," he growled, but his voice cracked. The MRI later confirmed it. A torn ACL, meniscus damage, and a recovery timeline that could derail his season, if not his career. Surgery was scheduled for the following week. Coach assigned me as his primary rehab coordinator. "Keep him off the mats until I say otherwise," he'd ordered. "And Alex, don't let him bully you into letting him train early." Those first days in Liam's house were a battlefield. He was stubborn, lashing out at the crutches, at the pain meds, at the universe for sidelining him. "Wrestling's all I've got," he muttered one night as I helped him elevate his leg. His roommates were rarely around. Practices, parties, life moving on without him. I cooked simple meals, burnt grilled cheese at first, then improving to stir-fry, changed ice packs, ran through gentle range-of-motion exercises. Liam fought me every step, but there were moments, fleeting, vulnerable, when he let his guard down. Like when he admitted his father, a former high school coach, had stopped calling after the injury. "He thinks I'm weak now," Liam said, staring at the ceiling. Always said pain was just mental. I saw the fear beneath the bravado. The isolation. The way he'd flinch at the sound of the team's group chat blowing up with practice updates. "You're not weak," I told him firmly. "You're healing. There's a difference." He didn't respond, but the next day, he let me guide him through a full set of exercises without complaint. Progress, small as it was, weeks blurred into a routine. I'd show up after classes, laptop balanced on the coffee table as I studied physiology while monitoring his physical therapy. Liam's house became a second home, cluttered with wrestling gear, protein shake mix, and stacks of unopened mail. We talked more. About everything. His childhood in Ohio, pinning opponents in dusty gymnasiums while his mom cheered from the bleachers. My life in Miami, growing up with immigrant parents who'd sacrificed everything for my education, expecting me to become a doctor. They'd flip if they knew I was wasting time babysitting a wrestler, I joked. Liam laughed, a real deep sound that lit up his hazel eyes. "Babysitting? You're the only reason I'm not losing my mind." The shift was subtle, A brush of hands during a stretch, lingering eye contact over takeout containers. One evening, after a particularly grueling session where Liam had pushed through tears to regain knee flexion, he collapsed back on the couch, exhausted. I handed him a water bottle, our fingers intertwining for a second too long. "Thanks, Alex," he said softly. "For everything?" The air thickened. I should have pulled away. Instead, I leaned in. Our lips met, tentative, chlorine-free but electric. We sprang apart like we'd been shocked. "I'm sorry," he stammered, face flushing. "I didn't mean—" But I did. And so did he. We didn't kiss again that night, but the seed was planted. Recovery dragged on. Liam's knee improved slowly, swelling down, strength building, but the mental toll lingered. He'd wake from nightmares of failing at nationals, of his Olympic dream slipping away. I became his anchor, staying later, sharing my own fears about med school applications and disappointing my family. "You're not alone in this," I'd say, and he'd nod, pulling me into a hug that felt less like friendship and more like need. The kisses started in earnest then, stolen in the kitchen while I cooked, on the couch during movie nights. They tasted like hope and forbidden fruit. "This can't be real," Liam whispered one night, his head on my shoulder. "I'm bi, Alex, always have been. But I've never, not with a guy, not like this." The confession hung heavy. He'd hidden it for years, afraid of locker room jokes, sponsorships drying up, his conservative family disowning him. "Wrestling's a macho world," he said. "One wrong move and it's over." I understood hiding. My parents knew I was gay but pretended otherwise, changing the subject whenever I brought up dates. "Focus on school," my mom would say in Spanish. But with Liam, it was different, intense. We existed in a bubble, his house our sanctuary. No one suspected. His teammates thought I was just the dedicated intern. My friends assumed I was buried in rehab notes. But the secrecy gnawed at us. "What if someone finds out?" Liam asked during a late-night drive to the 24-hour gym for light cardio. "What if it ruins everything?" I took his hand. "Then we face it together. But only when you're ready." Physical therapy intensified. Liam graduated from crutches to a brace, then to tentative jogging on the treadmill. I was there for every milestone, cheering louder than anyone. His surgeon cleared him for modified practice after 3 months. The first day back in the dojo, a cavernous space with faded blue mats and the perpetual scent of sweat and disinfectant, Liam moved gingerly, testing his knee in basic drills. I watched from the sidelines, heart in my throat. "How was it?" I asked later, handing him a towel in the empty locker room. The afternoon sun slanted through grimy windows, casting long shadows on the tiled floor. "Different," he admitted, draping the towel over his broad shoulders. "But good." "Really good?" I pressed, nerves twisting. I'd been off my game during his absence, second-guessing every protocol. "If anything, I appreciate it more now. The mat, the fight, you. Does that make sense?" "Perfect sense." He stepped closer, sweat still beading on his forehead. We were alone, the dojo echoing with distant sounds of the janitor's cart. "I couldn't have done this without you," he said quietly. "Getting back here. If you hadn't forced me to heal, to eat right, sleep, not push too soon, I'd have wrecked it all." "You'd have figured it out," I murmured. "Maybe, but I'm glad I didn't have to alone." He glanced around, then cupped my face and kissed me. It tasted like salt and victory. When we pulled apart, I was grinning. "Eventually, we'll have to tell people about us." "I know." He exhaled shakily. "I'm almost ready." "Not yet, but soon." "Your timeline?" "Our timeline," he corrected. "This is us." The word us warmed me like sunlight. This wasn't isolation-born lust. This was partnership. Transitioning back wasn't as chaotic as I'd feared. Liam eased into full practices, with me shadowing like a protective shadow. We carved out time, study sessions in the library's quiet corners, late-night tacos from the food truck near campus, cooking in his kitchen. His steaks were masterpieces. My attempts at arroz con pollo earned gentle teasing. We lived in secrecy, not shame, holding back in public but unraveling in private. Until one crisp November evening at Mi Tierra, the cozy Mexican spot my parents adored. I'd invited Liam to family dinner, nerves jangling. My mom had been prying about that strong wrestler boy for weeks. We squeezed into a booth with salsa-stained menus, my parents opposite us. Liam charmed them effortlessly, asking my dad about his journey from Mexico City as a mechanic, nodding intently as my mom described her tamale recipe. But I saw the depth, his genuine curiosity, the way he fit into our loud, laughter-filled dynamic like he'd always belonged. My mom's eyes sparkled with insight. Later, in the kitchen stacking plates, she pulled me aside. "Es especial," she whispered in Spanish, Liam oblivious as he chatted with my dad. "The way he looks at you like you're his anchor." My face burned. "Mama, I'm happy for you, mijo. My little doctor-to-be." She squeezed my arm. "Bring him more. He eats like a beast, needs more greens." I hugged her fiercely, gratitude flooding me. Their acceptance wasn't conditional. It was embrace. Walking back to campus under streetlights, Liam laced his fingers with mine, bold, public. "This okay?" he asked. I squeezed. "More than. Your parents are incredible. Your mom totally knows. Perceptive, huh? Bothers you?" "No." His smile was radiant. "Feels right. Needed that. Family seeing us." We strolled in companionable quiet, the campus bustle fading around us. "I want to tell the team," Liam blurted, stopping under a glowing lamppost. "Soon, tired of hiding. You make me braver, Alex, want to live real." Pride surged. This was the man who'd hidden for years, now choosing vulnerability. "Whenever you're ready, I'm there." 3 weeks later, Liam requested a team meeting in the dojo's side room. Mirrored walls, folded mats, the faint hum of the AC. Coach Ramirez obliged, clueless. I sat in the back, pulse racing as wrestlers filed in, curiosity buzzing. Liam stood tall, hands steady, but knuckles white. "Thanks for coming," he began. "Something personal I've kept buried too long out of fear." Silence blanketed the room. "I'm bisexual. Known for years, but scared it'd wreck the team. My shot at pros, everything." Gasps. "Too long out of fear." Silence blanketed the room. "I'm bisexual. Known for years, but scared it'd wreck the team. My shot at pros, everything." Gasps, nods, a few unsurprised shrugs. And, "I'm with Alex Rivera." Heads whipped to me. Heat flooded my cheeks, but I stood, joining him. Solidarity in flesh. 2 months, I said. Started during rehab. Unexpected, but real. "Dude, that explains the constant check-ins at your place," teased Marcus, a heavyweight with a grin. "Thought he was just PT obsessed." "He is," Liam said firmly. "Best teammate, best partner. You're my family, I don't want secrets." Pause. Then applause erupted, led by team captain Lena. "Proud of you, man. Finally some drama." Laughter diffused tension. Coach Ramirez, lurking by the door, stepped in. "Harper Rivera, trusting us means everything. This team's blood. Support each other, period. Problems? My office. Hostile? You're out. Clear?" Nods. "Good. Harper, full contact next week. Rivera, stellar rehab logs. Weights, nationals in 8 weeks, move." Teammates swarmed with high fives, bro hugs, questions. "Had no clue, stealth mode," one said. In the emptying dojo, Liam hugged me tight. "We did it." "You did," I whispered. "Together," he insisted. The subplot of Liam's family loomed. His parents visited for a match. Stern father, warm mother. Dinner was tense. His dad grilled him on distractions. Liam came out to them privately post-meet. Tears, arguments, but his mom hugged him. "We love you, son." His dad needed time, but sent a text weeks later. "Proud. Call." Season climax. Nationals. 6 months post-injury. Liam dominated, knee stronger from rebuilt muscle. I watched from bleachers with my parents, friends, heart pounding. His final bout pinned his opponent in record time, joy in every takedown. Post-match chaos, medals, cheers. Liam broke free, found me. Hey, breathless, sweat slick. Hey, champ. Then amid crowd, he kissed me, firm, declarative. Silence, then roar. Love you, Alex Rivera, he shouted. Tears stung. Love you too. Cheers swelled for victory and courage. Epilogue. Our apartment, a year later, cozy loft near campus, wrestling trophies beside my stethoscope. Med school acceptance came. Mornings, me brewing Cafe de Olla, Liam's arms around me. Schedule? Anatomy at 9, U, conditioning at 10, parents at Mi Tierra, 7. His hands wandered. Liam, coffee first. Routine. Banter, stolen bites, love and glances. Thank you, he said one dawn, for seeing me broken, healing me whole. Loving you's my easiest choice. Universe's favor, that coach assignment. To accidental matchmakers. Kisses, then door. Him and my old tea, messy hair, mug in hand. Love you. Love you. Contentment bloomed. From catastrophe to catalyst, we'd healed, grown, loved. Just the beginning.